p.m. It took us 13 minutes to get all of the materials out of the fridge and the pantry and everybody in place. It took us 6 minutes to mix everything together. It took us 4 minutes to get the cookies on the pan, and then the cookies baked for another 8 minutes. What time was it when the cookies came out of the oven?
What up, my quarantine people? Back at it again today, and I want to eat some cookies, so let's dive right in. As always, you know we love our sides check strategy here on Quarantine Math and Instruct the Beats. So let's get right with it with our statement. Our statement is going to say it was blank, and then this is going to be a time, but this is either going to be probably PM or AM, right? So it was blank time when the cookies, I got to work on my handwriting, came out of the oven, right? So I'm just going to leave it right there. So it was blank time when the cookies came out of the oven. So when I go back and identify, right, if my statement's my guiding light, I'm looking for anything about time, right? And then I'm looking for anything obviously about the cookies. So when I go back and identify, I find that this is an elapsed time problem because it's giving me time that it took to do something, right? So what I would have identified is it took 13 minutes to get ready, right? That's an equal sign there. Man, my handwriting is not very good today. It took 6 minutes to mix everything, right? So again, not good. Took 6 minutes to mix. It took 4 minutes to get them on the pan, right? So on the pan. And then it took 8 minutes for them to bake. And you wanted to know what time they came out, okay? And so I organize elapsed time problems the same way no matter what I'm looking for. Okay, the first thing I want to do is I know for an elapsed time problem, they're either going to give me the start time, right? Or they're going to give me the elapsed time, or elap as I like to say, or they're going to give me the end time, right? So in an elapsed time problem, you're going to know two of these pieces of information, and then you're going to be looking for the third. So this one also told me, and I forgot to write this down, but this is very important, that they started baking at 11 o'clock, or at 6:11 p.m., right? So this is when they started. So that's my start time. I want to organize that information. So they started at 6:11 p.m. And then it gave me a list of things they did. So this obviously would be my elapsed time because elapsed time means the time it took to do something. So for this question, they gave me a few different things. They gave me 13 minutes. They gave me 6 minutes for mixing. They gave me 4 minutes for the pan. And then they gave me 8 minutes. Man, wow, that is, my handwriting was not very good ever, but that's poorer than normal. And then I'm looking for the end. So I'm gonna put my question mark right there. So this is how I attack any elapsed time problem. I always have my start, my elapsed, my end. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to figure out, okay, yeah, that's a lot of different things I did, but what's the total there? So you can either add them all up in your head and kind of go as you, add as you go, but you might make a mistake. So you might also want to just come over to the side and or on your scrap paper that you should have in front of you, and you should be adding those, right? So 13 plus 6 would be 19, plus 4 would be 23, plus 8 would be 31. So now I started at 6:11 p.m. and I did my elapsed time for 31 minutes. At this point, some of you might just go ahead and add the time. I'm going to discourage you from doing that because here in Instructabeats, we've taught third, fourth, fifth, and even a little bit of sixth grade as well, and actually some eighth grade too. And what we know is that these elapsed time problems in fourth grade take the next step and they get a little bit harder. So you need a strategy that you should be using now that you can also use later, which is why at some point in my life, I had an awesome teacher teach me my timeline strategy. So my timeline might be a little crooked, but maybe, oh, ooh, okay. And time is basically on a line, right? It's always continually going. And so what she taught me was draw your timeline, and we're going to use a strategy called mountains and hills. okay? And so I'm starting at 6:11, okay? And my elapsed time is I'm going to show it on my timeline. Now, if you had an hour, which we don't here, a mountain would be an hour, okay? And then you also have hills, and hills can be anything you want. They could be 30 minutes, 1 minute, 5 minutes, but we're going to show each of these things on a timeline. We're going to do it visually because this will really help you when you have to go past the hour. And you can tune into the fourth grade problem today if you want to see a question like that. So I have 31 minutes. To me, that's really easy to break into 30 because I can add 30 to anything, right? Because it doesn't take me past the hour. So here I have a little hill, and this is going to be a 30-minute hill. And so if I had 6:11 and I add 30 to it, 3 to my tens place would be 41, right? So now after 30 minutes, I keep track, and it's going to be 6:41. And then I just have a little easy 1-minute hill, and that's going to be 6:42. Sometimes you get a little messy down here, especially on the when you're trying to write on this pad. And so at the end of my elapsed time, it was 6:42, which means my cookies came out at 6:42 p.m. because I didn't go past noon or midnight, right? And so it was 6:42, I'll erase the time, p.m. when the cookies came out of the oven. So if you want to see a little bit harder problem where this will really come into play, actually we're going to be going backwards in the fourth grade problem, watch the fourth grade video today and you'll see how we can use this same strategy even for fourth grade math. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you spending your time with Instructive Beats and Quarantine Math. As always, please like and subscribe the video. In these times of craziness, wash your hands, don't touch your face, and if you're feeling sick, stay inside. And as always, stay safe, do math. I'm out.